Hey everybody, it's Dragonfire here. I thought I'd give my afterthoughts for Too Many Games 2019, a convention I just went to this past weekend. Now, as always, there's always good thoughts and bad thoughts, and basically some stories and laughs to be had. I actually had to organize my thoughts as I always do because otherwise I'm going to just be ranting and raving and saying other dumb stuff, which will probably happen regardless. But anyways, let's get right into it. So first off, going through the good stuff of the convention. Actually, let me turn my TV down so you guys don't have to listen to the awesome Sekiro music in the background, or Sekiro as some people call it. So first off, they added a second hall, which was really awesome. This is something the convention needed a lot of in the past. Hold on. Okay, I just had to adjust my webcam because it almost looked like I was like doing funky stuff underneath my desk, which you'd probably all be questioning, which you're probably already questioning. I don't know at this point. Anyways, Hall B, they added a second hall to Too Many Games, something that has been needed for quite some time because the convention continues to expand, and more stuff gets added each year, and they're just trying to cram it all into one little box. But with this, they were basically able to spread out more and be more organized. Hall B basically allowed them to have a bigger LAN party rather than a cramped little room. More room for the tournaments in their own little section, so they don't have to be crammed in the arcade room. And basically, like another panel room, which is what they consider the main stage, and also have cosplay wrestling there. So that was awesome that they were able to do all that there and basically have more room for not only booths and indie games, but basically give everyone their own space for like cosplay wrestling and more chances for more panels. So that's really awesome. Basically, more room. So hopefully they continue to expand their convention and organize things to the maximum capacity that's efficient for everybody. Another one is the times for the marketplace and indie show games. Holy crap. When I first found out about this, that they were running until basically the convention closed, I was ecstatic. Maybe not. Maybe the marketplace and the indie people weren't as much. So they're like, "Oh my god, we have to work till close." But that's not the case because I saw some closing up early, which is fine. Just because your neighbor wants to run till close doesn't mean you have to, which is fine that they don't enforce the policy. But it's really nice for people that don't want to have to deal with super crowds at the end and want to grab that last minute deal before they head to bed or back to their hotel room. So I really love that. Basically, all times of the convention that the convention center was open, the marketplace and indie showcase were open. All the vendors were nice that I shopped at. They were basically all willing to haggle or had reasonable prices for their products. The only one I think I didn't haggle with was the zombie amiibo one, but honestly, with that guy's work, I don't think he would want to haggle to begin with. I mean, he was willing to haggle if I bought more than one, but with the amount of work he put into his amiibos, and there was a lot of work put into them, I don't think he was willing to haggle. Not to say that the other artists didn't do a lot of work in theirs, but I'm pretty the guy just seemed like he wasn't willing to haggle, which is fine. If you don't want to haggle or anything like that, that's perfectly fine. I'm not going to sit there and beat you with a stick. It just means it's too rich for my blood for the time being, or I can't justify the costs. Still really good artwork from all the people I shopped at. I really loved a lot of the stuff there, artist-wise. So, I know I just went over some of the good stuff. As always, we got to go over some of the bad stuff. As always, these are nitpicks of mine and nitpicks of my friends, but it's still stuff that would make the convention even more fantastic than what it already is. So, first off, I got this from my one friend, and I kind of agree with it because this year I didn't really see much of a seating area or the beanbags. I don't know if they were hidden somewhere or if those people just weren't there this year, but there wasn't as much seating as there should have been. Outside of the food area and tabletop the tabletop place in the arcade room, there's not much seating. So the thing is, if everyone's playing tabletop games and everyone's at the food court and everyone's on in the arcade room playing games, that means you're sitting on the ground. Now, for some people, that's okay, but for other people that have back problems or need to basically sit with support, that's not okay. So hopefully more seats or like kind of a resting area. I know that's probably asking a lot, to be quite honest, considering how conventions go to begin with, that you're there to mainly walk around, not sit on your butt. And if you want to sit on your butt, you go back to your hotel room. But it'd be really awesome if it was just like kind of a little resting area for everybody that just wants to chill out. And it could be out of the way for all we care. It doesn't even have to be beanbags, just chairs up against the wall. That could be awesome. It doesn't have to be a table or anything. That would be neat. Table would be much the better. Another nitpick was the main stage area was near the ring, and because of that, like any time cosplay wrestling was going on, that would basically cause a lot of noise. Now, it wasn't a problem this year. At least I didn't notice during the Throne Controllers panel, which was awesome. But there's also a lot of echo being in that room, and there's not a lot I think they could do for that unless they put up like some kind of walls around it. But even then, I don't know how they would do that. It was neat having the main stage area there, but at the same time, like I said, it's a big open area, so they basically have to shout in the mics in order to get like to spread out to the audience. But like I said, it's a nitpick. Same with the panels being a 1 hour for the main stage. But I looked at the scheduling, and a lot of people were using that main stage. So that's nothing of their fault. They had to get through everybody that had a panel and that deserved the main stage. But I'm sure they'll work it out in the future for longer times for panels and what they can do. But like I said, these are just mainly nitpicks. And one last nitpick, which I'm sure they basically go off probably a theme every year for the arcade. The arcade felt lacking in terms of arcade machines, not so much the console area. Console area is fine because they swap out and do different things every year, which is neat. But it just felt like there was too much space in the arcade room for like a lot of the arcade units. It felt like there were less. I don't know if that's my imagination or if they just had them more spread out. It could be that they're more spread out, but it just felt like it was overall less. Yeah, so that's basically the bad things. Nothing too bad. Nothing that would break me from like ever going back to Too Many Games. Like, oh, they did this, I'm never going back there again. But it's just overall things that they could do to improve to make the convention even a better level. Like, Too Many Games is already right here, but if they did those things, it'd be like up here. So next thing, I have a couple stories, as I always do. These are more personal things than anything to do with the convention. So first off, I guess I'll talk about the hotel room I had. So this is the first time in quite some time I've had a hotel room for Too Many Games. We stayed at I think it was Hampton Inn at Valley Forge and Oaks, which I think the first time I went to Too Many Games, I stayed at Hilton, which are right next to each other, which is pretty funny. And they have complimentary breakfast. So I got there and checked in, loaded all the stuff on one of those carts, or dollies. It's not dollies. I forget what they're called, but I loaded all that stuff, took it up to the hotel room. At first, me and Dirty thought we were right next to the elevator, but as we started heading down the hallway, it's like, oh, of course we're at the end of the hallway. Why wouldn't we be? So we got in there, and I looked around, and I saw like a bunch of USB port outlets. Then I looked at there was a microwave for the room, and I'm like, what the heck? There's a microwave for the room? That's awesome. Because I've never had a hotel room that had a microwave. And not only that, the microwave had USB ports. I was like, are you kidding me? And the hotel room even had a mini fridge, which at this point it's pretty much standard. So I was like, look at all this stuff, like, this is awesome. And then I look at the TV, and it's like a 27-inch TV. I'm like, well, I guess considering all the other stuff we got, this is okay. And I'm just glad they didn't lock out any of the ports. So good on you, Hampton, for not locking out your HDMI ports. You have no idea how many hotels I go through to, and they lock those out. And it's just the dumbest thing ever, because if you have people come to your convention, they're going to bring video games to play. And more than likely, you're going to have call a tech in and deal with that. So basically, they're wasting their time doing some asinine thing when they could be doing like real work rather than dealing with us idiots playing video games. But I digress. The other story is basically a bunch of video games we played. Me and my friend Shane Zenos played Time Splitters 3. It ended up breaking the game where a turret that we destroyed was supposed to vaporize, but instead it went flying off the map and was spinning around. I'll upload the video later for that. Bushido Blade, where I think Dirty was mocking the game, and then even he started having a fun time when they all started playing. They were basically butting heads with each other and doing other dumb stuff in Bushido Blade. I was playing other games. There was Cuphead, where me and Dirty were trying to get past a couple bosses, and it was complete BS. And Shane's friend was making fun of us until he started playing. It's like, yeah, you're right, this game is BS. Because a lot of it was starting to get random rather than memorization, and it's just like, oh, are you kidding me? This game's getting annoying. Also played Dot Hack Versus, where I said to my friend Shane, it's like, if you whoop my ass at this game, I'm never playing it again. And it's like, okay, I'll play a character I don't really know all that well. So he played a character, and we each won one, and I thought he was going to whoop my ass, but I managed to squeak by with a victory. So it was pretty close. I'm hoping to eventually, if I play the game again, get better at it, because it actually was fun. It's like the Naruto fighting games, which it's automatic combos and all that crap. So it's a really simple fighter game. Even Dirty got to play it, and I played with him. I played Black Rose and Ovan. And then the last other game we played was Million Monkeys, where while I was playing Ghost Trick, everyone was like, Shade tried to convince me to drop Ghost Trick to play Million Monkeys. And somehow I still got third place, even though I was AFK, because Shane prevented people from killing me while I was AFK, which was kind of hilarious. And then the last story I have is basically, while me and my friends were leaving for lunch or dinner or whatever you want to call it, my friend Dirty opened the door for James Rolfe, aka the Angry Video Game Nerd, and for the entire weekend I was trying to get an autograph for my one friend, for him, on a copy of Friday the 13th for NES. And as soon as Dirty said, hey, it's James Rolfe, and he turns around to look for me, I'm nowhere near him. And then when I finally get my picture that I left my group for, it was Noir Spider-Man, by the way. Of course, I had to get his picture. Dirty said to me, it's like, hey, there's James Rolfe. You just passed him. I'm like, where? And it's like, well, he's gone now. He's in the crowd. And it's like, where'd you go? It's like, I told you I was getting a picture of Noir Spider-Man. I guess they didn't hear me because the entrance to the convention's super crowded. So a lot of the time you won't hear each other, and a lot of the time you gotta like shout in each other's ear, especially in the concert hall, because it's really loud. So overall, what I thought of the convention, really good. I really enjoyed it this year. I really enjoyed the Hall B and the Hall A. I felt like I had a mix of everything. Indie showcase, playing some stuff in the arcade, going to concerts, going to a... I think I only went to one panel, which was Throne Controllers, which is the only one I wanted to, but unfortunately I had a guy coughing to me next to me the entire time, so I think I ended up getting sick. And, what was it? But the layout was pretty neat, and I'm hoping with the negative things I mentioned that ends up getting changed for next year, and rotating their games out. But anyways, that's my thoughts on For Too Many Games. Let me know what you thought in the comments below, and what you would like to see for Too Many Games in the future. So till next time, everybody, I'll see you then. Later.